just be dropping videos for you guys. But let's talk about real quick Indiana Jones.
How about you talk about PlayStation, man? I understand that you people waiting 6 months to play this incredible game. How about you talk about Indiana Jones when you finally have the opportunity of playing it on your PlayStation, man? What's wrong with these YouTube channels, bro? How are you gonna call yourself a PlayStation fanboy, but yet every time you open your mouth, you talk about an Xbox or an Xbox game or maybe some controller that they made? What is wrong with you individuals?
Uh, as we all seen, great reviews, lots of positive comments.
Yeah, because they don't have that PlayStation stench. Matter of fact, it does with all these puzzles and cinematic cutscenes, man. If it wasn't for that PlayStation stench, I would have loved the game.
Played it, people played it, are enjoying the game and all that stuff. But this whole Steam metric thing that people use to gauge how successful a game is from a perspective of sales is a double edged sword. You
Yeah,
know?
just like you. That's why games like Concord, Rise of Ronin, Foam Stars, that's why a lot of these games ain't successful. And the funny thing is, it's funny that you say that because didn't I tell you that it's more than how much a game sells? I mean, Multiverse did pretty well. It had a huge population, and look what happened to that game, bro. You see, now we're going back to the same argument that Phil did when he had an interview with, was it Kind of Funny Games, when he told you it doesn't matter what we make, we're not going to get these people to gravitate to the Xbox platform to, or even play these games. The problem with the gaming community is is the fact that you people are stuck in the past. You think by making incredible, great games is going to get people to gravitate to the next platform. And to be honest with you, that is not the case. People don't care. They're looking forward to Grand Theft Auto 6 and NBA 2K26. Nobody cares about your exclusive games. Now you're starting to understand what people have been trying to tell you for the past few years, you big dummy.
They used it against Dragon Age for the whole anti-woke agenda. They used it against Silent Hill because, PlayStation, time exclusive, whatever the stuff is. Now Indiana Jones is getting to work, right? Apparently not high peak player counts or whatever on Steam.
Of course not, because you can play the game through Game Pass Ultimate. If you're playing on PC, you don't even have to buy the game. And that doesn't necessarily mean that people aren't playing it. Because if you got the game through Game Pass Ultimate, which I do think is a different thing, it won't show up under Steam charts, would it, guys? Or unless that is Steam sales of the game. Why are you expecting PC gamers to buy a game when they already have access to the game through Game Pass Ultimate?
Right, despite the positivity around the games.
Okay.
Double-edged sword using this Steam stuff. You weaponize one game with it, another game could be weaponized with it. I guess is what it is. I'm more concerned about this though. If let's say Indiana Jones didn't really hit from a commercial perspective, right? Is it because of the IP? Like maybe there
No,
isn't.
it has more to do with the fact that people don't care. People are playing Fortnite, they're playing Grand Theft Auto, they're playing their yearly sports rehash games. That is the problem. This is what I've been telling you guys ever since I created this YouTube channel, that nobody cares about your exclusive games. You people are dinosaurs. You're practically extinct. That's like me crying about, oh, why we don't have a Ninja Gaiden or an Animusha. I don't know, kids. Maybe because there's not enough people that are going to support it. Maybe that's what it is, you big dummy. How hard is it for you people to understand? Oh, they don't like make music like they used to back in the 90s and the early 2000s. I don't know. Maybe because you growing up and the new kids that want to listen to music now have different taste. Bro, grow up. Like, you're 50 years old and you still expect things to stay the same as they were when the 90s, bro. I mean, come on, man. You went from VHS to DVDs, bro. MP3s, y'all remember, flip phones, and now you got one on a whole screen, and you out here crying about this nonsense now?
An audience that really cares about Indiana Jones, regardless of the games.
It's not that nobody cares about it. There's a few adamant gamers, such as ourselves, that do. I'm not saying I care. I'm just saying for those people that are out there. But it's not the vast majority. See, this is why I think gaming is going to have an inevitable crash because, like I said, mostly for the games that we want to play because, guys, we're extinct. That's why I just stopped caring. That's why I just said, you know what, I'm going to play retro games. This is what makes me happy. And there it is, bro. I'm not gonna sit there and cry talking about, oh, why they don't make music like they used to do back in the 1960s with Elvis Presley. It's either you go back and listen to it or you just keep complaining about this new music. It is what it is, bro.
Well made, well designed, all that stuff. What if this just the IP is just not valuable?
It's not even IP. I mean, you want to know some IPs that ain't valuable? Infamous, Killzone, Little Big Planet, apparently. I mean, MotorStorm, games that Sony hasn't really made for quite some time. Mod Nation Racers. I mean, we can go through the whole list, baby. You know, like I said, now you guys are starting to understand why Sony don't bring back SOCOM and Killzone the way you guys want, because it's not making the money. How are you going to put a game like Killzone when Call of Duty is going to completely annihilate it? I mean, look at games like X Defiant. I mean, look at games that even had some remote success, and look what happened to a lot of those projects. They all failed. Even games like Multiverse had issues doing well. And y'all want to have faith in a franchise that barely even did well when the game was relevant? Come on, man.
Today's audience. What if it's past its due? And it made me wonder what other IPs that I personally thought would be big hits, but may flop, even if the games are great.
See, the problem is the fact that Indiana Jones didn't flop. Even if the player count for the game is low, they're still making that $20 a month. That's all Microsoft cares about. Times that plus the subscription service that they have for people, and there you go. You can see that Microsoft is bringing in that money every single month. That's why Microsoft did it this way, because they understood that most people aren't going to go out there and spend $60, $70 for a game. Maybe you ponies will, because you don't have nothing on PlayStation, so you guys got to compensate for the fact that you don't have an Uncharted game. So there you go. Keep giving Microsoft your money while Sony is plummeting and going under bankruptcy. I'm telling you, man, it's not looking good for PlayStation. As much as you people want to keep holding on to this hardware sales, I'm telling you, man, the true concept of a console is over. Stop holding on to that concept, bro. And I'll say the same thing for the dudes that play on Xbox. And you guys are going to see when that Nintendo Switch 2 come out, you're going to be seeing a lot of games going digital. Watch. You're going to see. They're going to be putting Splatoon as a watch. You'll see. The game ain't even going to be on the cartridge. You'll see. You Nintendo gamers laughing at everybody else now. You guys are going in the same direction. And that's why Nintendo is stalling the inevitable, because they understand this. Okay?
Like Thundercats. I always thought in my head, man, somebody's going to make a Thundercats game.
Now, that would be pretty awesome, but the problem is with these dudes, you'll probably have a Thundercats Fortnite skin before you get a Thundercats game.
You have to make a big AAA Thundercats game. Somebody's going to try to do that. And now I'm thinking, yeah, ain't nobody going to do that.
Yeah. Back then, we had Def Jam Fight for New York. We had the Warriors. We had so many great licensed games. People are not going to gamble with that anymore, Puerto Rock, because that's not what's bringing in money.
I also thought Spawn. I
would have loved to see that too. I could tell you how they could make I don't want to hear him talk. I could tell you how they make a good Spawn game. Have it with the God of War, your brutality, Devil May Cry gameplay, Onimusha presentation, best game in the world, bro. You guys already know. You're like, wow, Games, I like the way you broke that down. Like, you got to have that brutality from God of War. You got to have that gameplay like Devil May Cry. And you got to have that Onimusha presentation. Best Spawn game. I just broke it down how you can make the best Spawn game. There you go.
To the source, violent, AAA, well-designed. Just the background alone, the city.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, unfortunately, those days is over. Those are things that people was willing to gamble on the PS2. They're not willing to do that now.
Beautiful. So with that, I want to ask you guys. You let me know. How about you? What do you guys think? You think there's some IPs where in our heads it sounds great, but when you release it, most people are going to be like, what? Who's that? I don't really care about that.
I mean, that's because that's the new audience. That's the people that are playing games now. Nobody cares about these games. You guys made it seem like, oh, I hate PlayStation, bro. There's a lot of games that I enjoy from PlayStation that I think that would be worthy of a comeback. But the problem is these games will fail. I mean, they did it with Siren Blood Curse, which is a remake of the original Siren. I love that game for the PS3. And guess what? It didn't work. Yeah, the game, I've had people tell me it was poorly marketed. Okay, fine, but still people weren't looking forward to it. That was at a point in time where survival horror games was kind of dying, And what's even more laughable, what brought survival horror back into the map was a game like Outlast. That's why games started copying that with Resident Evil, with the first person perspective. I mean, the funny thing is, Capcom has stated they always wanted to do Resident Evil in first person. That's why games like Survivor existed. They always kind of wanted to do that, and now that they got the hardware, they're able, or should I say, capable of being able to bring a first person Resident Evil, which in my personal opinion is trash because all it does is copy all these horror tropes from everybody else, and it's not original anymore. You feel what I'm saying? So that is my issue with Resident Evil or just games in general. To be honest with you guys, we're dinosaurs. We don't exist. Our opinions don't matter. No matter what you say about Indiana Jones or whatever these games you want coming back, it's never going to work. And this is why I told people it's either you like Game Pass or you don't, because Game Pass is the reason as to why y'all got an Indiana Jones. This is the reason why you're getting a Fable and a Perfect Dark. I think Gears of War would have always came out, so I'm not going to add that to the equation. But there's a reason why Microsoft said we're going to rekindle some franchises, because if these games don't sell, which we already more likely know is the case, as long as we got people subscribed to our Game Pass Ultimate, even if they're subscribing for Call of Duty or Gears E-Day or whatever have you, they're still getting that money that they need to be able to contribute and bring these games out to the community. Sony don't have that. That's why you haven't got The Last of Us 3. That's why they canceled the multiplayer, because they're not confident in dropping a game like that with all these other free-to-plays. They know it's going to fail. You feel me? You're not going to get a guy from Fortnite to say, hey, I'm going to go pick up that Last of Us multiplayer or that Spider-Man Great Web. They're not going to do it. They're not. At least with Microsoft, they still have some form of a niche audience with Halo, Gears, and Forza. They're still, even without them expanding, there was always still that core Xbox. Well, we pick up Xbox for Gears and Halo and, those games. They had that. But Sony don't have that in comparison. And you could tell by the way they're making their games. It's gone to the point that Sony's not even confident in dropping their own titles anymore. They got to rely on Koei Tecmo. They got to rely on the people that make Souls games from software. They got to rely on Square Enix. They got to rely on other people because Sony can't rely on themselves. That's how you know gaming is over for the old school gamer. That's why I just choose not to care. I don't care about the direction of gaming anymore. Y'all like, well, that ain't no real gamer, bro. I put my years in. I put all my good years in. I've been playing gaming since I was 2 years old, and this is the first time I've ever been severely disappointed. I'm done. I don't care. I'm happy playing my retro games. That's what gaming is about, right? Being happy with what you're playing. And I know a lot of you guys like Indiana Jones, but unfortunately the game ain't for me. It still ain't no Butcher Bay, and it ain't no Assault on Dark Athena. The pacing of that game is garbage. Okay, that's just from my point of view. It was bad. Puzzle after puzzle after puzzle after puzzle. And don't dare say, oh, I'm not smart enough to do puzzles because I play Silent Hill 2 and 3, and those games have harder puzzles than what you're getting with Indiana Jones. But the pacing is much better. See, this is the problem. This is a game design issue, and this is why people are opting out for multiplayer. Single-player games, see, what they used to do is they used to have the single-player game that had and add the single player. Like if you think about it, Gears of War, single player game, add the multiplayer. That's why the multiplayers were fire. Because it was like you're playing the single player, but you're doing it in multiplayer. You see what I'm getting with this? So that's kind of where multiplayer kind of got a lot of its foundation, is the fact that it's a single player game and they just add Final Fight back in the days. It's it's a cooperative game, but I'm just saying, single player, you can play it by yourself, and it's the same experience, except now you're playing it with somebody else. Same thing with Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, another single player centric game that you're playing by yourself, but it's more funner if you play it with somebody else. Do you get what I'm saying? A lot of these games had elements built from single player, and that's why a lot of these multiplayer games was good. Same thing with Halo. It was like, oh, the single player is good. Let's take that immersion and put it into a multiplayer and then have you shoot everybody else. Whoa, that was amazing. But now you got companies focusing solely on the multiplayer and less so on the single player, to the point that they're streamlining the game so far bad that it's mostly just stretching out the game, massive amount of puzzles. You could just tell, bro, a lot of these games are stretched out. A lot of them. A lot of them are stretched out. You could just tell, man. And as much as y'all like Indiana Jones, the game is severely stretched out, from puzzles to the cinematics. Like I said, it's a good game. It's probably by far the best game that came out this year. But in my personal opinion, the game is overrated. Like, y'all like, what? I thought you was Xbox. I thought you was Team Green. Listen, man, I'm going to keep things consistent. Now, I don't even want to finish the game. Like somebody said, you might want to play the game later. Maybe, but it's not my priority. Like, I go as far to play old games and I have more fun. That's what gaming is about, having fun. If I'm playing a game and I'm getting bored, then to be honest with you, this ain't gaming. Well, it gets good later on. Bro, I'm not waiting for that. If the game gets boring, I'm done. And I get it. Some old games have boring elements, but even the boring elements was fun. Like with Shenmue, somebody brought it up like, man, I like Shenmue from beginning to end, but man, that forklift mission was garbage with the job, which is true. But guess what? You did the part and then you got right back into the immersion. So I'm not saying that gaming hasn't had parts where they break away from the fun. A lot of games do, but you went right back to the fun. You did the forklift mission, which was garbage. Nobody's going to lie. But as soon as that was over, you went back to having fun, asking questions about sailors, engaging with the open world environment. You went back to the fun. That's what you're not understanding. With a lot of these games, they're grindy. You got to do all this. It's like, bro, bro, playing a video game is like having a job. Y'all like, what? Yes, it is. It's so ridiculous, bro. What happened to the days when you pick up the game and you just had fun? Now you got all these trials and tribulations. You got to do all these challenges to get money. You got to grind out all this garbage. You can't even have fun anymore. Y'all know what I'm saying is true? Bro, gaming has gotten so boring that it's probably better to work a 9 to 5 than to play a video game. That's how disgusting this is, bro. I remember back in the days, bro, people be like, yo, man, you coming outside? I'm like, man, I don't know. Today I just want to stay in and enjoy my Xbox 360. Nowadays, if somebody tells me they want to go out, bro, it's immediately at the snap of a finger. I don't even think twice, bro. Gaming is literally like, I'm going to tell you something. You know how I go to bed? I literally play a boring game, okay? Or a modern game, I should say. And it helps me go to sleep. I don't even have to buy NyQuil. The game just puts me to sleep. I just be like this. I'm playing a modern game. And I go to bed. You don't even need NyQuil no more, man. Just pick up your most boring, like if you have insomnia and stuff, just pick up the most boring game that you could find at GameStop, bro, and it will put you to sleep, bro. I'm telling you. That's how boring these games are, bro. It's crazy to me. And you guys want to sit there and say that these games are fun. These games are not fun. They're garbage. What was fun was what I was doing back in my days, and you people trying to rekindle it. That's why we got people like Puerto that's 50 years old still crying about how things ain't how things ain't like they were in the 90s. Well, I hate to break it to you, old man. It's over. That's something that you got to realize. That's something that you got to understand, that gaming will never go back to what it used to. The passion, the love, the community, all that is gone. And I think that's what hurts you. That's why you talk and that's why you do what you do. And I think that's why PlayStation fanboys point the finger at Microsoft, because they say, it was you. It was you, Microsoft, that caused this with the online console. It was you that caused these microtransactions and free to play. It was you. Nintendo gamers do the same thing. You guys want to blame Microsoft for everything. But all Microsoft did was adapt to the landscape of gaming. That's all they did. Just no different than Sega. That's why I remember people was complaining about Phantasy Star not being a single-player game, and it was a massive multiplayer game. And people complained. Now, people did appreciate it, the new Profound fans, but the ones that played the game on the Sega Genesis had a problem with it. Because they're like, this ain't Phantasy Star. What's this? They turned a single-player game and made it multiplayer. You don't think people was upset about that? But guess what? People have moved on and people still enjoy Phantasy Star. Well, some of them. I don't enjoy it anymore. But I'm just saying, that's a product of its time. And that's perfectly fine. But you people got to understand, things will never go back to the way they used to. No matter how much you want to cry, I like my Power Stone, I like my Onimusha, I like my Ninja Gaiden, I like my Killzone and SOCOM. I want my old days back. They ain't never coming back, bro. It is what it is, man. You people out here, I mean, you could tell this man literally got bags underneath his eyes, bro. He got that from crying. This man literally got bags, bro. What are you talking about, bro? Look at this. This man literally got humps. Look at this. Little bumps underneath his eyes, bro. You get that from a lack of sleep and crying on pillow, bro. Look at that. He cried so much that even the pillowcase is affected underneath his eyes, bro. Y'all like, wow, Games, come on now. Look at it, bro. He got bags underneath his eyes, bro. This is ridiculous, bro. Go get yourself some sleep. Just enjoy what gaming has for you right now. And if you don't like it, go pick up a PS2 and you can have fun with that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, gaming is finished for all the dinosaurs out there, including myself. And like I said, I'm more than happy just to keep playing my old games. It is what it is. Take care. Peace out.